I'm going to sell you something, right? Apple Ireland have just released this brilliant new product. It's called the Macintosh PowerBook 170. You've never seen it before in your life. It's 30 years old. I'm selling it today for $30, right? It comes with it a play. That's the only thing that's on it. When I was 15, I wrote a play about the final days of Kurt Cobain's life. It was a fictitious version from my head. I didn't know how to create a play. The only things I'd done is maybe, learned how to color in and things like that. I didn't know the structure, the 2 acts, the 3 acts, 90 minutes, 1 hour 20. So I had to make it up. So all I could do was be passionate about him and his story and his narrative. So it was 8.5 acts long for fun. And the duration was 47.5 minutes. Now, and for a start, that's not going to go anywhere, right? Because it's completely upside down, inside out. But the other thing was that in the narratives and the questions on stage, he was asking the audience. He wanted help, and he wanted you to tell him what to think and where to go next. Okay? That was 30 years ago. So I want you all to stand up if you're not already standing. Come on, this is interactive time. Let's go. 15 years it took me to work out a methodology called line to circle, right? As simple as that, line to circle. And I'm going to teach you, lucky, in 15 seconds what it took me 15 years to master, right? You've got your product. Draw a line with your finger, please. Right out in front of you, right? That's your book, your podcast, your movie, your series, your album, right? It has a finite piece. It always ends. Now do this. What have you done? In that simple movement, you have told your brain, this never ends. This keeps on going. What happens now? You've got your core, your film, your podcast, your book, your series in the middle of the circle, right? It's your core premium. But look what happens around the core premium. Draw that. Layers and layers and layers of content. You didn't think you were going to be drawing circles with your finger today, did you? And what happens when you get really good? Remember the audience, folks. We'll come back to the audience in a minute. You draw spirals. Try and do that one. Come on, I can see you thinking, how do you draw a spiral, right? Now, when you get into that, that's 15 seconds of your life. You've just changed your thinking. But you can sit down now. Sorry. But we've been brought up on the rails. We've been brought up on the plumbing. Sorry, I'm like a air steward, But we're all on the rails. And we've been brought up with people who have walked that line but not been too happy about it, right? Creativity is the thing that saves us, right? The revolution was never going to be damn televised. Never going to happen. These guys, we've got to get rid of them once and for all. White old men telling us how to create. To Chris's point about the box, giving us these boxes made of steel that we can't break out of. It's time to make our own damn box. Remember? Your product, your podcast, your book, your film, your album. But it never had a circle. It never had layers. It never had engagement. But we had brilliant artists, right? We had game changers. We had brilliant artistry. We had reflections of society. We stargazed. We had magic and wonder. We had adversity and determination. We had rule breaking, hero making, emotion taking, brilliant artistry. We had 1 second for Tina, please. Clap. We had brilliant endurance. We had intertextuality. We had Metallica playing with orchestras. What the hell, right? We had rule breakers, agitators, truth tellers, and truth seekers, right? Can you? He's got his own universe, right? We've got new formats. We had pushing beyond our limits over and over and over again. And now we've got this cool retro, cyber, future, alien, weird shit going on. It's cool. We've always tried to break out of Chris's box. We've always tried to get off the line. We've even had existential narratives that we're trying to negotiate. But guys, Netflix, as brilliant as it is, and I know the guys and they're cool and they've done brilliant stuff, but Netflix is a video library online in my world, right? It's like lists and categories, and key art and all the things in the folders and where's the creativity? You're sitting on 4 seasons of Stranger Things. Who is in that room with those old guys, old white guys, talking about numbers and money and shit, right? Who's in the room that's being silenced that says, what can we do with all that gold? What gold? Gold? Did you say gold? Money? Money? What? Creative guy, say. Or creative girl. Tell me that again? Yeah, I was just thinking we could recycle. Would I have to go at 5? Can I stay? Can I keep my schedule at yoga at 5 o'clock because I have to leave here? Well, you might have to, employ more people. Right, next idea. Ads. That's what we'll do. We'll do fucking ads. Right? I'm a self-editor, you see that? Right, so we can do adverts. That's a great idea. No one's ever thought of that, have they? What's the next idea? Fast channels. Woohoo! Free, categorized, right? Not recycled. Constantly filling up the garbage truck for us to find and not find and spend an hour browsing because they have no emotional intelligence. We can talk about that in the next speech. They don't know us at all. We can talk about that in the next speech. And that's where we go to. Who's French in the room? Have I spelled that right? Have I spelled it right?
Say it again, please.
Yeah? Is that right too? Linear is dead. Linear thinking is absolutely dead. And if you're not careful and you don't pay attention, I'm going to get you to stand up and do that with your foot. Right? Linear is dead, but creativity lives on. That's no moon. Right? That's no moon. Social media was meant to be our wheelhouse. Creators were going to have fun. We opened Pandora's jar, not Pandora's box. Pandora's jar. Right? We had our linear stuff. Facebook, I thought at one point, was going to take over the media world. They knew everything about us. They had all the systems, but they didn't know how to change it. We've got a wee bit of circle, don't we, on social? Wee bit of circle. We've got some lines, but we don't have the funnel. We don't have the spiral. We have a lot of that. That's going to really come back to bite us in 5 years' time when we've worked out what it does to your brain. Look at what it's done to mine already, right? Creators have been squeezed. Chris's box isn't a box, it's a metal cage, right? You're controlled by the algorithms. You're controlled by the desire to make money. We've created a generation of spoilt, beep, 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 Irish words, okay? These guys would have been famous, whatever, they would have been pop stars or they would have been celebrities in some way or other. So they haven't really, YouTube is fantastic, TikTok's fantastic, whatever. You've got creators telling girls to suck lollies to be thin, and we let it happen. Gym bros. But we did create communities, didn't we? We did galvanize millions and millions of views of content about cyberbullying, about Me Too, about movements, about moments and movements, about building community spirit around narratives that we could control. So that was cool. We could live stream from anywhere. If you want to know what it used to be like when you had live stream, you had to decide whether you could see it or hear it. And I did 2 of the first live streams from Ireland way back a couple of years ago. Right? We can even do formats. We can mess things up. We can do micro interactives, extend film narratives out. We could get things done. We could use Sin City style visuals and do interactive with YouTube back in the day with annotations and so on. Okay, so it's there. We can even put YouTubers in movies, which is kind of counterintuitive if you think about it. But we did it. It's cool. You can buy the record. You can even build your own social media. Tick, tock. Look into its eyes. Look into its eyes. You're thinking about it, aren't you? You're thinking about TikTok right now. What else can I find out about the royal family? Why is Meghan a bitch today? Huh? Come on, you're laughing because it's true. So TikTok did two wonderful things. It taught us that about rabbit holes and the mind. Now you think, that's terrible. But it's good if it's good storytelling. It's good if it's good narratives. It's good if you can dive deeper and deeper and deeper into your set of narratives. Remember what you're doing? Line, circle, spiral, layers and layers and layers, and the spiral. Well, what if that was your content? Just diving deeper and deeper and deeper. That's how to really engage and create constantly and continually and ongoing, isn't it? But Taylor doesn't make any money on social. And if Taylor Swift, worth $500 million, can't make fair, she does make money, but $0.26 per fan per year on social, right? And if she can't make the money that is equitable, then what the hell are we doing? We don't have any chance, okay? So Act 3, we've got there already. I feel like I've run a marathon. Just give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves there. No. What about the Act 3? And there aren't 8.5 acts, so don't worry, you can get your lunch in a sec. But the point is, what if we're going beyond social, post-social, let's call it, right? Post-social. So we've come from the linear world, air traffic, right? We've gone into social, where we've had some freedoms to create our narratives. What happens next? And all these brilliant people will tell you what happens next and how you do it and so on. But I want to tell you the framework. That's a different presentation, sorry. So you can tell I'm not a linear guy from the assembly on the wall, but don't blame me. So what if we had the childlike, Maxim mentioned it, go back to the child, didn't have screens, he had a wall to draw, that was cool. Could do, Dunkirk in the back garden with soldiers and all that stuff. Well, look at the television. We didn't spend much time on it. So the point is this. It's an open playing field, right? And we can create any narratives we want. Even El Papa tells us there are two important things. I sense a lot of Catholics in the room. They're offended. Don't be offended, please. 2, it's a peace symbol, right? What if you remove the ad models? The ad models, the advertising models, right? I've just realized everyone's laughing because you don't understand what I'm saying. No. I thought it was insight. Anyway, and the second thing is the algorithmic control. What if you had a narrative playing field where you pulled out the pin of ad models, where you pulled out the pin of algorithmic control? What sort of narrative, creative freedom would we have then? I can change my t-shirt at last and wear another color before the algorithm marks me down. I can do this shape, this deep, that deep. Okay? Creative freedom towards Web 3. No more line walking. No more algorithmic control. We've got our initial core premium idea, our book, our movie, our album, our discovery series. We've got our circular thinking. We've got our movement in our head. I'm going to change how kids, we tell stories to kids about philosophy. I'm going to do this new thing that can keep giving and giving and giving because we've got our, right? Endlessly going on. The final thing is to focus on the audience. Too many people, and I know some of you are in this room, but I won't shame you, you don't think enough about the audience when you're creating an idea. They own the story too, right? And if you think audiences don't want to create or play, TikTok. Have you seen it? It's a new thing. It's a bit cool, right? People want to play. They want to create. And what you can do as the core premium owner of the narrative, you can empower not only them, but yourself, because they'll tell stories for you. You see? Remember the loop and the constant spiral? It'll actually, if you talk to those old white men, you can tell them we're going to save money because my premium core is only 8 episodes in a series, and the audience is going to create the other 6 series. You see what I mean? Your audiences no longer want to simply listen, watch, and consume. They want to be active participants in your dramas, in your narratives, in your album, in your movie, in your documentary, in your book. They want to become the story. And you've got to treat them at eye level. The minute you treat them at eye level, magic happens again. You know the magic when you went to the cinema for the first time? That you don't really, oh God, Fast and Furious 59, I don't think I could do it anymore. Do you remember the magic you had with the E.T. and Star Wars and all this stuff? You can do it with the audience now. Post-social. People want to be on stage with Taylor. They want to have groups, they want to stream, they want to cut and splice, they want to learn with Taylor, they want to sing with Taylor, they want to write with Taylor, they want to produce the albums with Taylor, not destroy folklore. Don't worry, Taylor. It's not about destroying the premium core. It's building layers and layers and layers and rings of content constantly. After I was on a roll there, wasn't I? And I caught your eye, I was like, okay, they want to make the music video. So in a world where you turn an adventurer, a journalist, an anthropologist into a space princess, because that's what you really wanted to be, right? Sorry. We've got commerce that simply feeds through visual narratives easily. You've got blended narratives of AR and VR. You've got your own metaverse. Why not? You've got your own NFT studios. You've got your own marketplace. You can turn a story, a documentary, into a movement, right? You can do social justice. You can keep the wheels turning and turning and turning and turning. You can change Deadpool into, we don't have to make 55 of these damn movies, because we can spin and spin and spin all the different formats, all the shapes and sizes, without the algorithm, without the ad models, without the restrictions and the guys in that room, right? You can turn bedroom bandits into new types of thought leaders. The creators of today can become multi-format, multi-channel, over and over and over again. Our travelers, our travel vloggers, they're taking us with them at last, right? Our gamers are becoming legends of content, never mind gaming. Right? And you're constantly spinning this loop. There's no downside. It's infinite. Fashion, you can already see how fashion is going mental on Metaverse. Mental, it's just made for it, it's beautiful. Take the biggest, smartest minds out of the damn lab and put them all over. Layers and layers and layers of expertise and exploring the world, exploring our minds, exploring everything. Turning single-shot documentaries about health issues into US-wide movements, right? Where everyone here is the story, not the guys making the movie. You can turn budget movies into the second highest grossing movie in England by giving it over to the audience, because it's based on real-life themes. Your book is based on themes. Your documentary is based on themes. Break them down. And suddenly you've got all the layers and layers and layers of content. And then give it to the audience. What about, I'm giving you some extra ideas here at the end. What about flipping the paradigm around validation? Who decided it was a good idea you needed 10 million views of your shit? Right? Why did I want 10 million likes? I don't care about 10 million people. I want you. I want to change your life. And you. You're not looking. You. And you, and you, and you, and you. Individually. I know that if my daughter's best friend had a one-on-one with Taylor Swift, that would change her entire life. If she was one of 10 million people, I like Post Malone better anyway, What about if we got rid of screens? Never mind all this post-social bullshit. What about if you got rid of those actual frameworks? What if the narratives were fluid? So now we've got something that has no box. It will have a pathway, Chris, I promise. It's got no box. It's got no screens that it has to. It's got no format. You can do any format you like. Because remember what it was. It was the core. It was an idea. You're a child. It's okay. Do you like this voice? I could finish with this voice if you want. Right? Pathway, Chris. Now, this road bends. It's not a line. Okay? I don't fall over myself at this point. This road bends, And what we need is to stop jumping into metaverse from nowhere, I mean. Stop jumping into AI from nowhere. Get there and use it and do it. NFTs and metaverse and all this stuff. Do it. But do it in a measured way. Do it in a planned way, out from your core. Right? It's so important to get there. But so many people, in my experience in big media, the conversations are, we need to be on the metaverse. Do you? Do you know how to use social media engagement? Get that done first, right? We need the NFT thing. Why? Because Disney are doing it. Oh, right, okay, cool. So a pathway will help Rudy here take his idea, create the circle. I'm boring you to death with this stuff now. Doing the layers and layers and layers, and the engagement loop with the consumers and customers and audiences, and it will give him the tools and the the roadway to see it through. No longer will he be stuck behind the fence watching the commissioners up there and begging them to, please, Netflix, give me another series, right? No longer walking the line. No longer controlled by algorithms. Someone kill these guys, right? Always be with those guys, right? Because they're storytellers too. There's one final jump off, guys. I'm really sorry. Okay? Don't worry, I'll write all this down for you. Right? There's only 5 things to remember. But if you've got all the freedom, if you've got you've broken out of the box, we're post-social, we're spinning and spinning and spinning all our formats, all our narratives, and about this one core idea, about changing the world a little bit, and you're doing all of that, and it's all great. What's in the center of it? What's the one last thing we need to get rid of? The biggest metaphor for linear thinking in the world. A 75-year-old construct, which means from real to real. That way. Okay? Tape to tape. You play, I watch, we watch, we fall asleep. Okay? We don't engage at all. What if you do that? You're taking away that pin in the center of all linear experiences. So you have your idea, your premium core. You have your circle. You've got your mind on, okay, this is an infinite loop. You've got your core in the middle. You know all the other pieces of content, the formats that you're going to use, the channels, everything about it. You've got your layers. You've got your spiral. Back to the child again, right? What would the child do if you said, make a new play button? Oh, that's easy, right? Maybe it would look something like this. Right? It's a thumbprint. You can move it. We can touch. Now go with me. We can move it that way. We can move it down. It's like we're washing a window, right? It's not like, it's like healing hands or something. You're with me now. Okay? This play button's a new window, a new interface, a new portal, a new loop. Imagine the fun we can have with that thing. Right? Do you want to play? Thank you very much.
Anybody have a question for Matthew? Yes.
Yeah, I had the fortune to hear a guy years ago. I had the good fortune years ago to hear a guy, Edward de Bono. I don't know if you know that name, maybe before your time, and he talked about lateral thinking versus linear thinking. And this was I'm going back 35, 40 years ago. And frankly, I still don't see it. I mean, you're evidence of it, and I'm glad I'm here today. Mm-hmm. But it's just not, school and education is just not there yet. And I'm kind of pessimistic about that.
Right.
Can you address that?
Yeah, sure. So it's about money, isn't it? It's about money. Yeah. It's the guys in the room, right? It's not about creativity. We can do lines and circles all day long. We can create all those formats all day. We're already doing it in our silos, in our channels, right? Social media, now since that guy, social media has taught us a few things about formats, and we've got used to that. right? So actually it did, the Pandora's thing. It did open the box and we learned how to do stuff. Our mums and our grannies and all are doing TikTok videos. I mean, what the hell? They're telling stories. So the dynamics have changed. If you take away the absolute prerequisite of money, we can, figure out how to make money elsewhere or a different way. That will make it happen. And it's already happening all over the place, by the way. It's just not, to your point, it's not mainstream. You see? But it will be. It's all the silos are happening. And one day it's going to erupt. Okay? Yeah, but it's a brilliant question. Hi.
You mentioned jumping out of an algorithm or jumping out of a box.
Yeah.
How do you balance being systematic to get things done versus jumping out of a system to come up with creative ideas?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a really good question. Right. So it depends what boxes you're talking about, right? Algorithms shouldn't, let's talk about systems. So ultimately, I would love it if the first thing you could do is take all your stuff and recycle it, right? Using AI and all that stuff, right? But as Maxim said earlier, the human element's always going to be there. So use the technology. Technology is brilliant. Programmatic is brilliant, right? Boxes are brilliant, like Chris said. You need that box. But I'm saying create our own box. You see? Our own pathways. So I know that the question is beautiful because of the balance issue, but use the technology for its purpose. You don't have to, it doesn't mean I can't have to wear black every day. You know what I mean? Change the algorithms. Create our own ones. Is that fair? Algorithms aren't the enemy. I'm saying the existing algorithms in a narrative context aren't friendly.